Hello and welcome. My name is Natalie Schlute. I'm your psychic success coach, and I am here to help you manifest the life of your dreams, to help you develop your intuition and stay on the right path throughout your entire life so that you get the most out of this lifetime. Today, we are talking all about karma and karmic relationships, understanding what karma is, why when we are in this lifetime, we have a lot of different relationships, some good, some bad, some short, some long, all the lessons that we have to learn in between, and the different types of karmic contracts that we come into this lifetime with. Some of them are our own karmic contracts, and then we also have contracts that we come into each lifetime with other souls, other people that we're meant to have certain experiences with, or perhaps just learn specific lessons. So we're going to get deep into karmic relationships today. If you love everything that has to do with law of attraction, manifestation, and intuitive development, then be sure that you like this episode, you subscribe, and then also hit that bell so that you get notified every time I have a new episode for you. So to begin this episode, let's start with just a few definitions. If you've been listening and watching some of my previous episodes, you'll know we've been doing a deep dive into soulmate relationships and all those different ways that soulmates reincarnate together over different lifetimes. To begin with, you are a soul first and foremost. Before being a human, you are a greater soul that has just come into this one human body for this particular lifetime. You reincarnate over and over again to have different human experiences. Soulmates are just friends, people in your lives that you enjoy reincarnating with, you enjoy learning from, and you enjoy switching roles around. And so often in many different lifetimes, we'll have the same soul group of people that we come back with over and over again. And the relationships will change. You might be siblings in one lifetime. You might be a mother and a daughter relationship in one lifetime. You might actually be love partners in another lifetime. And so we like to switch up our roles. There are roles of companion relationships, people that are mentors and teachers or friends that just come in periodically and help us with certain things in our lifetime. There are also relationships called twin soul relationships. And those type of twin relationships are where you have a really deep connection. These are your best friends, the people that you've gone through a lot with, the people that have come into your life for significant periods of time, whether it was a great crisis that they helped you get through, or even just great times, like certain times you spent in college with certain people and maybe you don't keep in touch with them the rest of your lifetime, or they might even be lifelong friends. So those are your twin relationships. And then twin flame soulmate relationships, that's that really love, like you're my other half, you're my other soulmate type of relationship. Not everyone experiences a twin flame soulmate relationship in every lifetime. We're not all meant to be in one romantic relationship for our life. We are meant to grow and learn and be in serial monogamous relationships where we have long-term relationships one after another. And so it's important to keep that in mind and understand that when we come into this life, we have karma with different people. We have contracts with different people, and we even have contracts with ourselves. So what is karma? I'm sure you've heard this word before. Karma just means there is a cause and effect. There's several different universal laws that you might be hearing floating around out there, things like the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, the law of karma. They're actually all very closely related and very similar. Some people will refer to them as something different and maybe for specific situations, but for the most part, they have the same energy and the same intention. What you put out into the world is also what you get back. The energy that you exude and vibrate at, you will have a match in return. And so when it comes to karma, that really has to do with everything good and everything bad and everything in between that you do in your life. When you do really great things, when you give and you are loving, you are open, you are receiving, and you're living in your highest energy, closer to your higher self, and you're in your highest light, you're just gonna have a lot of good luck. Things are just gonna happen and flow into your life. That's what's called good karma. Because as you put good energy and high vibration out there, you're going to receive a lot of good karma back in your life. The opposite is also true, and this is where a lot of people get stuck with the law of attraction, is they think it's this one manifestation exercise, but it's actually how you show up every day. So if you're showing up every day and you're thinking negative thoughts, you have low self-esteem, you believe that it's going to be really hard to find a romantic partner and a soulmate, if you feel like people are constantly judging you and you are judging other people, perhaps you actually do some things that you know are not good, maybe you're talking about people behind their back, or you do something that's just really mean. You know, sometimes we do mean things. If we're angry, if we're upset, if we're hurt, you lash out at other people. Those are things that will also come back to you. You are a magnet for everything that you show up for in your life. So when it comes to negative karma, and this is where I feel like the word karma is thrown around a lot, is this negative sense of, oh, don't do something bad because you're going to have negative karma come back to you. In essence, that's always happening. It's happening with everything you do. But keep in mind, even though you do one bad thing, it's not like you're going to have all these bad things happen to you. And if you have one negative thought, it's not like you're going to have a ton of bad things happen to you. It's kind of an overview of everything you experience. We also have these similar kind of karma relationships when it comes to people in our current life and people in past lifetimes that we've had lifetimes with before. So there's a few different types of karmic relationships and karmic situations that you might encounter from one lifetime to another. So if you're having an experience with someone in your life and you're wondering, why is this happening to me? It might have actually been in a contract that you came forth in this lifetime to learn something from another person, or maybe you had a role reversal with that person from another lifetime as well. There's a lot of ways that karma comes into play when it comes into relationships and reincarnation. So karmic repetition is one of the first types of karma that we tend to see happen from one lifetime to another. So this kind of repetition is you had an experience that you really enjoyed. And so you may repeat that lifetime after lifetime. This is often where that twin flame soulmate type of relationship comes into play, because you've had such wonderful times as souls living side by side in the past that you want to repeat it. This is where these twin flame soulmates feel like they've had lifetime after lifetime together because they really enjoyed that, and they're repeating it again in this lifetime. Not everyone experiences those types of relationships in every single lifetime, but if you're lucky enough to have a twin flame soulmate, that person that truly feels like your other half, you are both growing spiritually together, and there's all that magic there, even though you go through the everyday hard times too, that is what's considered a repetition, karmic repetition. This happens on an individual basis as well. So often if there are skills, careers, hobbies, things that you enjoy doing in one lifetime, you may decide to come back and repeat that in other lifetimes. For example, the career that I have right now, being psychic, being intuitive, being a life coach to other people and helping other people create success in their life is something that I have done in many, many lifetimes. As a psychic, I've been getting a lot of past life revision episodes coming through over the last several years actually, and I have visions of myself doing tarot card readings in other lifetimes. There were 7 other lifetimes that I saw flash before my eyes in all these different time periods. And having psychic abilities this is not the first time I've had this skill set. So sometimes there is a karmic repetition where we decide to come back because we enjoy something so much. There is always the opposite negative effect of karmic repetition as well. If there are things that you have strongly struggled with and never figured out in another lifetime, you may come back and repeat that same mistake or that same addiction until you figure things out. Often, for example, addictions can really come from these karmic repetition. So say you enjoyed alcohol a lot in another lifetime, you may actually come back in this lifetime and experience alcoholism in excess because it was something that you knew you enjoyed in other lifetimes, but you actually take it a little bit too far. So sometimes addictions or patterns that you repeat and just don't learn from might also be karmic repetition. Karmic compensation is the second type of karma that we tend to come into multiple lifetimes with. And what this means is we're trying to find some balance. So there may have been a lifetime where you did have a twin mate soul flame relationship, a romance that started when you were young and lasted your entire lifetime. And you may choose to come into the next lifetime and experience multiple relationships. It might be your choice not to be with one person for your entire life and to have a, serial monogamous relationships where you actually experience one relationship after another, and you may have that pattern for the rest of your life. It is just a choice to kind of balance out and have a different life experience. And the opposite is also true. If you didn't have certain relationships that maybe you felt like you were missing out on or wanted to experience in your next lifetime, you may come into a lifetime where one lifetime you have many relationships and the next lifetime you have 1 or 2 long-term relationships. People that maybe experience a very lonely lifetime where they kind of shut people out may have one of the opposite come through. a loving long-time relationship in the next lifetime, or many different variety of relationships that give them a lot of adventure, a lot of things to learn from, and a lot of things to grow from. And the third type of karma that you might be experiencing in this lifetime is what's called karmic retribution. So what this means is perhaps there was a relationship that you had with someone in another lifetime. I'll go over a couple of examples, but let's say you were in a loving relationship with someone, but there was an imbalance of energy. Maybe there was an aggressor and a submissive person, someone who was more verbally or physically abusive, and then you had a submissive partner. You may come back in another lifetime and reverse those roles in order to create retribution, kind of like a payback. What could also happen is that you come back into another lifetime and you have a loving relationship. Maybe you had a negative relationship with someone in one lifetime and you wanted to come back with that soul and experience what it would be like to have a happy, healthy relationship. So there's all kinds of different types of retribution that you might experiencing. Again, these role reversals, perhaps you were cruel to someone in a past lifetime and then you come back into another lifetime as their parent so that you can learn how to be better to that person or that soul, so to say, because they're a different person, but they are the same essence of the soul. And so often there is this retribution, a little bit of a payback, a switching of ties, so to say. And this can also happen with your guardian angels, which is actually kind of interesting as I've been doing a lot more work with my own angels and having one-on-one conversations to get to know them. One of the angels that has been reincarnated with me, she has been with me in multiple lifetimes. In one lifetime, she was my mother, and in another lifetime, she was a friend and an enemy. And when I had this conversation with my guardian angel, she actually let me know that one of the reasons why she is here with me as my guardian angel in this lifetime is because of her retribution. She is serving me now. She is helping me and giving back to me in order to kind of balance out the one lifetime where she was somewhat cruel to me. So it's really interesting how we kind of flip around these rules, not only in the relationships in the physical realm, but also on the spiritual realm. You may have some guardian angels that are there for you because you've had other relationships with them. One of my other guardian angels was my son in another lifetime. So these roles can play around and we can have different contracts that we come into different lifetimes with. So be open to the idea, the concept, and the understanding that it's okay to have all these different relationships in your life with your friends, your families, romantic relationships, the good ones, the bad ones, the so-so ones. They're all there for a reason. They're all there for you to learn and to grow and to have these different experiences. Not every relationship is meant to be perfect and wonderful. We don't learn anything when perfect and wonderful is all we experience. That's why we're here in the first place. So karma is a wonderful thing. It helps us learn and grow. And when you understand that what you put out into the universe, the way you show up every day, the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you treat other people is what's going to come back to you. And so that really encourages you to take the power back in your life and to choose your karma. You get to choose every single day. Every day you are voting with how you show up. You are voting with your emotions. You're voting with your thoughts. You're voting with how you verbalize and speak to other people, how you treat other people, and how you treat yourself as well. You are creating your karma in the here and now. You are creating your own karma for your own soul and your own life, but you're also creating your karma for your relationships. So if you want to experience better karma, if you want to experience better relationships and better experiences for this life and other lifetimes, do your best to do the inner work, to do some self-reflection and show up as your best self every single day. That's the kind of shift that I love seeing in people because that's where spiritual growth really happens. That's where all growth happens. Every success in your health, in your career, in your love life, in your financial abundance, in every area, it all comes with being intentional about how you're showing up right now. If you truly enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and also hit that bell so you get notified every time I have new episodes for you. If you enjoyed this particular episode, I have a few more episodes all about soulmate relationships, attracting your soulmate, and what it's like to actually meet your twin flame. So be sure to check out those videos over here. I'll see you in the next episode.